So the way I wanted to structure this DVD was to have essentially use it as a resource rather than something you just watch from start to finish. I think often when there's too much information in a DVD, trying to watch it all at once, it becomes too much for you and it's hard to internalize. So instead, what I want you to do is we're going to show like the main technique I use from an area, and the rest of it's going to be dealing with scenarios that can happen from that. And the best way to use this in your actual training is, if you're first learning it, just go for that move and then pay attention to how or why it may not be working. So if they're defending in a certain way, I can almost guarantee you that I cover how to deal with when they're defending that way in this DVD. And then you can look up and search that, how when someone does that particular defense, how you're going to respond and manage to continue to attack your opponent and get the finish. We've also got, I'm also putting there some footage of me rolling with some of my students, basically trying to implement my guillotine and variations of the guillotine game. That way you can see how I actually use this when I'm actually sparring and in competition. And this will give you really good insight into what moves I use more commonly and exactly how they're applied. Guys, there's a few different positions that I find we can set the submissions up from, and that's what we're going to break this series down into our strategy from each of these positions. Okay, so the first one is from this position, the front headlock position. The next one is the guard, hit like this, where we can attack from here, and there's a bunch of options from here. We've got the inverted north-south. Okay, so Tim's facing up and I'm facing up. This is actually this is a really good position from here, okay? I've got a lot of really effective attacks that I can set up from here. We've got north-south itself. Okay? We can set up our chokes from here, such as the north-south choke. And we've got on top half guard and mount, okay? So we can be here attacking or here. So we're going to cover some different versions of the guillotine and variations of that in this series. Those finishes that we're going to really focus on are the guillotine, the arm-in guillotine, the anaconda, the das, the Japanese necktie, and the north-south choke. Okay, so for the guillotine choke, the first thing we need to make sure is that we've got a good grip on the chin here like this. Okay, so as my first grip, Tim's going to be trying to remove that grip away from me. So if I'm not holding the chin, if I've just got my hand floating through like that, it's easy for him to grip that. Okay, so I want to make it as difficult as possible for Tim to remove that grip by keeping my grip tight on the chin. I also don't want it at the moment, I don't want his head to slip too high before I've got my grip in, because if he looks up like this, I can lose the position too. So I've got to have his chin, and I'm going to have my elbow tight to my ribs here like this, okay? And notice Tim's head's just a little bit off to the side, so I don't want to put it right in the center just yet when I want to set up the guillotine. So it's a little bit to the side, my elbow's pinching to keep his head trapped. From here, I'm going to reach my other hand through to connect my hands like this, okay? Now, when I do that, I want to again make it hard for him to grip and defend me attacking this choke. So if I allow Tim to grab that arm, it's now going to be extremely difficult to finish any sort of choke. As soon as they've got really good control on your arm, the choke becomes difficult. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep my arm close to my chest and go like that. Okay, so just as an example, if Tim's here, try and grip and remove my arm as I go through like this. And you'll see, because it's attached to my body, it's hard for him to get fully underneath and remove the grip. So as I'm here, I'm feeding my hand close to my body, try and remove that, Tim, and I'm looking to get through and connect my hands like this, okay? So as soon as your hands are connected, your elbows are staying tight. Again, really trying to stop them from getting your arms away from your body. Okay, so I've connected my hands. The next step is to bring the head as high as possible in my armpit on the side of my ribs. Okay, so I'm going to start to come forward, posture up, and pull Tim's head up really high, like this. Once it's high on the ribs, I can readjust my grip and get my arm a little bit deeper. Okay, so now this choke is starting to be applied. Guys, this one, it's not like this. I'm not lifting both arms at once. What you're doing, you got the chin, you're gonna row up as high as you can, and then adjust back, okay? So the one side's going up, block your elbow so the head can't free, and then we're just adjusting back. And we want this part of our wrist catching the center of their throat. So we're here, we connect our hands, like so, come forward. So I bring my shoulder a little forward, pull the head up, and we're adjusting that grip, okay? Where I've connected my own grip on my hands here is just my left hand, all my fingers reaching over the top and cupping over this side of the palm of your hand, like that. Okay, so you're making essentially a fist with your right hand and your left hand's coming over, gripping the palm there. Okay, now that we've got this in position, it's time to sit and go for the finish. Okay, so I'm squeezing pretty tight now. This could potentially choke him, but I don't have all my body mechanics right yet. So I'm going to step laterally. I'm going to put my right foot in front of the hip, here like this. This is going to stop Tim from running to this side. If he runs to that side, and I don't have that leg and he runs to that side, it's very difficult to finish the choke from here. So I have to actually stand up and hook that foot across, okay? We don't sit down. Here it's too easy for him. I don't get my leg attached and it's too easy for him to jump to that side. So again, the difference in my leg positioning there. If I sit down, it's hard to catch. Like there's time he's got to move around. If I stand up, I can block, okay? And that's what we're doing. Okay, we block there, okay? Now, my left leg is going to come over to try to stop Tim from rolling. He can either do a forward roll, like that, which relieves the pressure, or he can roll to the side, like that. Either way, that's going to relieve the pressure on the choke, and I can't immediately finish. So when I've got the guillotine, like this, we've got the head high, adjusted our grip. I'm going to swing my leg over the top here like this to catch right across his back. Okay, this try and forward roll now, Tim. Okay, it's going to keep me attached to him. Even if he does roll, I'll keep the exact same angle so I can finish. Okay, and from here, we're going to do a side curl towards my own hips, like this, and then a little roll of the arm upwards, a slice to finish. This is where a lot of people go wrong, guys. So, guillotine is not an arch of your back like this. You see a lot of people slipping their head free from a guillotine, and that's because you're arching. Okay, well, it's one of the reasons. So if I try and arch my back, one, it just tries to crank his neck a lot, so that's easier to injure his neck. But two, he can slip his head free. What I want is my hands in position. I'm on my right hip here like this. I'm going to curl into that side. So it's a side curl of the body, like that. And I'm sort of rolling my forearm forward like this. Okay. My hands slightly rolling backwards as well as slicing up. Yeah, cool. So, yeah. do have to do it somewhat correctly. The arming guillotine is very similar to the regular guillotine, so except their arm is trapped, and it can be a little harder to finish if you're not used to doing the guillotine. So you just have to make sure all your mechanics behind it are really sound if you're going to be trying to do the arm and guillotine. So we're going through behind the arm, and we're connecting in exactly the same way as the last grip. So last time for the guillotine, we're going in front of the arm. For the arming guillotine, we're going behind this far arm here like this, and we're connecting our hands. Okay. Again, we're going to pull the head up to the side and adjust our grip a little bit so that the neck sits just in front of the start of our forearm bone here. Go up and adjust. Now, from here, I step to the side, and swing my leg over the top, and I'm going to squeeze and curl in to finish. So the mechanics are very similar to the guillotine. What I would say is really important for this one is that when we've got the neck here like this with the arm in guillotine, if you're pulling up with both arms, their arm being caught here is actually going to make your movement a bit weaker. If you're trying to do this, okay, you really have to be like actually almost dropping that elbow and levering up. So you see how my left hand actually like levers up like this? I don't grip like this, I'm still holding there, but as I drop that elbow down, it can help add extra pressure to my right arm. So all the force needs to go through the neck on this side, and anything you're actually pulling up with on this side is going to take away pressure from the choke. So as we're pulling up here, dropping your elbow slightly and helping to roll up with your left hand. We'll just change angles. So Chris moving around. Don't know what he's going to see on that angle. Okay, so we're going to go through finishing the anaconda choke. I want to just go over the finish and the finishing mechanics. We'll go through the entry. We're going to end up in this position a lot, and they're going to show you how to get there a bunch of different ways. But to finish the anaconda, we're going to even assume in this case that Tim's kind of being nice with this arm, and we'll learn how to deal with when he's not being nice with that later on. But I'm face up. What I want to do is I want to get my right arm so that I can see my hand facing here like this, okay? So that means my right forearm here, the one that's around the chin, is going to be flush against his neck, ready to choke, okay? So we're here. I'm going to make sure that hand is available, and I'm going to reach my left hand deep to catch that, and then it's going to come back and grip behind the back of his ribs here like this. From here, what's going to finish the choke is a rowing motion with my right elbow. So I'm going to pull back with my right elbow, and that's going to get the submission. So from here, we've got the head and the arm. I'm going to be reaching through just enough that I can see, like that I'll be able to catch my bicep here like this, and then I'm going to reach back over the top of the lat here like this. Now, so you'll see the neck is here. The neck's caught in this gap here, and what's going to finish is not a squeeze, okay? See, I can squeeze as hard as I want, and it doesn't change this angle much. What I want to do is row my elbow back, okay? Once I get it, my elbow is pulling back towards my ribs, and I can totally close that gap off. Now, this can go wrong if you're reaching in the wrong way. So I don't want to put this arm as far through as I can, for example. Now I don't have my forearm attached to his neck. So I'm trying to get this and choke like that. Tim could sit here all day. What I need is my forearm being tight against his neck, and I want my hand just available. Similarly, my forearm can be too shallow, okay? So if it's here, I won't actually be able to reach. So I have to adjust this just enough so that your hand is visible, and we're gonna come through, grip our own arm, grip onto the lat here, and we can finish. Now let's just have a quick talk about head positioning here. Let's have a look at Tim's. Tim's head is off the ground. It's sitting on top of my ribs here. What that means is if I need to put extra force into the choke, I can start to walk or pressure with my chest forward towards him. Okay, so we're here, I'm rowing back, I can walk into that and push his head into the choke like this. Okay. What we don't want is the head on the ground. Okay, I've seen this happen a lot when I've taught it before. When the head's on the ground and I walk in, this is going to really twist his neck sideways. Let's move around so they can see it. Go away. So we're here. I want the head floating here like this on top of my ribs while I set it up. We put your head on the ground, Tim. So if his head's down like that, and I'm trying to do this, what's going to happen now? I'm going to be like twisting his neck sideways as I choke. It's barely, my forearm's barely across the front of his neck, so it may not even choke. Maybe he'll tap, but this is not what our desired outcome. We want the choke. We want to be here, okay? Forearm right across the neck and catching the choke here like this. So you'll see this a lot throughout this DVD, and I'll go into it in much more detail, but almost always I'm going to be using my leg here to control this arm to set up the choke, okay? Because when I go to connect my hands, if Tim opens that arm, I can lose see that? I lost my ability to connect my hands, and I'm going to lose the whole choke. So almost always, when we go to finish the choke, I'm going to be using my leg over the top of the arm. So now we can't flare that elbow, and I can set up the grips much more safely and efficiently. And that's using my leg. Often we'll even, as an intermediate, be using our elbow here like this. So I connect my hands and my elbow locks tight. So open that arm, Tim, and then my leg can come in. I reach through like this and catch. Remember guys, it's reaching through with the far arm to meet your choking hand, not reaching your choking hand through to meet your far arm. Here, very difficult to do, and I'm already going to lose the position. Okay, so you can open that elbow or whatever. Once we're here, everything's in position, reaching out, arm through, catch, and pulling to the far side so you can't set that arm. Ten-finger guillotine is basically what we use when their head's stuck in the middle. Obviously we wanted their head out to the side, their head's stuck in the middle, and we've got both of our hands in front. So it's not the arm in, this is like you're going for a regular guillotine. So we connect our hands like before, and I'm trying to pull the head up to the side, but maybe Tim's forcing it to the middle, like this, okay? When we're here, we're just boxing the head in, like this, okay? So you see, I want to block his head from escaping either side using my elbows like this. So we're here, connecting my hands. Tim's forced his head to the middle. My elbows, see my right elbow and my left elbow are doing exactly the same thing. Try and pull your head out to the side now, Tim. So it's stuck in the middle like this. Then I'm going to get my belly over the top. I'm going to get here, this part of my stomach, pushing down on his head, and I'm levering up with my hands like this, keeping my elbows tight. So we're here. I'm going to bring my belly forward like this, and I start getting into like a low squat. My hips are pushing, hips and belly pushing in, and I'm curling up with my hands like this. Okay. Often with this one, they'll kind of start running back along the mat. So if you stand up, Tim, you're gonna have to follow, just keeping over the top. So you're kind of just following them and pulling up like this. As long as you stay hovered over the top of them with your weight there, it actually becomes hard for them to like roll and bring their head out, and that's all you're aiming for. Don't let them escape their head, you're applying pressure up. This will be like front choke, you know, like right on the Adam's apple, as well as a blood choke as well. So you're gonna get everything with this one. It's a nice one. If they do slip their head, boom, I'm back through our guillotine again. Guys, for this, my hands, they're not like interlocked, or I'm not gripping like this or anything. They're literally just like one hand cupping the chin, the other one does the exact same shape and comes over the top. So it's stuck like this. I'm not even actually holding my hands together. This alone will make it very difficult for them to break the grip, and that's just pulling up like that. Levering up, my elbows don't open, just a lever upwards like this, with my weight coming down from my stomach. So, let's just, we've done an angle, let's do this angle. That's enough, yeah. Alright guys, so the Giles choke is an arm-in choke, just like the anaconda, but we're now on the opposite side. So imagine the anaconda was the hand around the chin, goes all the way through behind the far armpit to get the choke. This one is the hand that's underneath the arm is actually going to be the one that chokes, and we're locking off on this side. Okay. Now, for the Giles choke, a very common position to get it from is the half guard when someone's underhooking. It's actually, I think if you got long arms, this is a really good choke. I got short arms, and it's definitely not my preferred one. I prefer the guillotines and the arming guillotines, but this is the technique for the Giles. I do use it, just not as frequently. So what I want to do, my aim is to get my arm through really deep. So you can see I actually have to not just reach my arm, but I have to drop my shoulder and really get that arm through deep. If my hand's not poking out, like waving on this side, I will not finish it. Okay, so if I'm here, guaranteed he's gonna get out. Okay, so I need to be getting my arm through as deep as I can here. But you can see here that if Tim just lifts his head backwards, there's no way I'm gonna get that. So actually at the same time as I'm doing that, I need to be curling Tim's head in. Best way to do that is using the elbow. Okay, so this is a strong motion. We're doing like a row, and I'm really pulling Tim's head in like this. So if we go through the setup there, I'm pulling Tim's head in, and at the same time, I'm dropping my elbow through, okay? Now you see, as I start to put my elbow through, I start to lose my control on his head, and I might not get my hand through. So I need to switch from the back of my elbow to the forearm, like this, okay? So now it's like slip from my elbow to the forearm, never losing contact on the head, never allowing him to extend until my hand is deep. Once we connect our hands here like this, so I'm using my forearm to stop him extending. Try and extend your neck, Tim. Okay, so he's stuck there, okay? Once we've got that, I can now use the same principle that we did with the anaconda. I'm not reaching my right hand towards my bicep. I'm gonna bring my bicep to my right hand, okay? And you have to get a good solid grip on this. This one's gonna go over the back. And again, I'm not gonna finish with a squeeze. Okay, the pressure needs to come from a row. So if I squeeze here, it'll probably hurt the side of Tim's neck, but this is probably not actually even a choke right now. This is just probably hurting him, okay? What I wanna do, I wanna roll a little bit this way so that my forearm starts to go closer to the neck, and I'm putting pressure now with a row, okay? And I'm gonna row with my right arm upwards. Okay, so again, we're here. Squeezing does bugger all to close the gap that their head's in, okay? I want to row this up. It's an awkward position to lift this elbow right now. So I'm going to drop to my hip a little bit, and then I can start to pull my elbow towards my ribs. That's going to close off the neck. Now, this hand has to be tight, because remember the neck's actually more here and their arm's there. So even though we're doing that, we really need to like make sure that the whole structure is moving towards our chest and not just the elbow. Okay, so it has to be like a motion where it's going to move the whole forearm back towards the ribs, and the weight of your body actually pushes the head into it. So I'll borrow Tim again. So we were here, we pulled the head back, connected our hands, my hand's through now. As I connect here, I'm dropping my weight into the neck. That's kind of pushing his head forward into the choke, as well as I rowing my arm up. Okay, so you can see my weight here, pushing forward his head into my forearm. And we get the finish. Which way we go? Yeah. Probably no point seeing it from the far side. Yeah. Alright guys, the difference between the Das choke and the anaconda had the choking arm, so the one that's grabbed the chin is going to come through behind the arm and we lock off there. So I'm actually choking with the hand that's around that was going to be the chin strap. That's the anaconda choke, okay? We rarely try to finish from here, but with the Das choke, it's actually the hand that was around the arm coming all the way through. And that's going to choke from this angle and lock off with the hand on the chin. So it's actually a different arm that's choking between the anaconda and the Das. Okay guys, Japanese necktie is, I use this a lot more than I use the Das choke personally. It's basically a Das choke for people who've got short arms. So I've gone to reach, I've pulled the head back, I've got my arm through just like we do with the Das choke. And I've slid from elbow to forearm to try and connect my hands. And I've realized that I'm never gonna get for whatever reason, like maybe Tim's defending, I'm never gonna get my hand through far enough that I'm gonna connect up the Das. So I felt that, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect my fingers here like this. You can even connect your grip's actually not extremely important. What is important is that you're putting pressure to bend their spine. Okay, so once I connect my hands, whether it's like an S grip or a gable grip, once we connect our hands, we can put pressure back. So while Tim's trying to extend his neck here, I can fight that, whether we're here or here, like this, okay? Now, it's hard for me to finish just from here. So what I want to do is push his head down with my stomach. So I'm going to lock that in place and roll my hips over the top, so I'm pushing his head with my stomach. So we're here, my hips are going to come up. I try to keep Tim from flattening out, and I'm going to get my stomach locked over the back of his head here like this, okay? And then to finish, I can push my stomach into his head to push that towards my arms. So let's have a look. We're here. We've driven back, connected our hands. I roll over the top like this, and now I got my stomach attached. My right arm, so the same arm that would choke with the Das, is gonna curl towards my head, and I'm gonna scoot my hips in towards Tim. And he taps. Okay, so let's have a look at that without Tim there. We've got our grips connected here like this. My elbow's locked. I'm gonna roll my belly over his head. I'm gonna fall to the side like this. So now his head's trapped here and my forearm's there. I'm gonna be pulling my forearm towards me, but at the same time, I'm gonna be scooting my belly towards his head as well. Now, one thing that is important for this, I actually wanna stay trapped in the half guard. If Tim can run away, he relieves the pressure. So let's have a look at that from this side actually. So, we're here. Connecting grip. I've got the choke here, right? You can see it's getting choked. I want to keep this leg curling back towards me, because then when I bring my stomach in, he can't relieve that pressure and I can choke. If I open that, and as I move in, he moves away, right? Okay, so this makes it so he can relieve the pressure. So when we get the Japanese necktie, we want to actually keep the half guard and curl in towards us to stop them from creating any space. Guys, make sure when you land you're facing the side. So I don't want to put my stomach down like this, okay? This is not going to work. I really have to like face my hips and my stomach this way. Okay. Then when I push in, it pushes his head. Not landing on the like hips facing down, pushing his head to the ground. This is going to be much easier to escape. Do that on a slightly angle this way. Yep. Yeah, it's going to be the same one, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, actually go again. Let my arm in position. Alright guys, for north-south choke, we've got access to the person's head here like this, okay? So we're in side control, or approaching front control, and he doesn't have any frames that are able to like push me up, okay? So let's say his arms are both by his side, like this. This is a perfect time to go for the north-south. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and get my elbow, my right elbow, as deep as I can, like this, okay? So I need my elbow right, like as far as possible, connected to the neck, all right? Like this. And I need to turn Tim's head away, okay? Because if he turns towards me here, other way, yeah, he's out. Straight away, he's out, okay? So what's gonna turn him away, I can't use my hands because my arm's blocking his head. What's gonna turn him away is I drop my ribs low and then I use them to turn his head, okay? Now, I connect my hands. I'm gonna slowly drop my weight down and back to the ground and we get the finish. Okay, so let's have a look at the mechanics of this and why we want to do it exactly that way. I want to get this elbow as deep as possible. Why? Because that means that's going to be the smallest gap where his neck can fit, which means I can close it off better. Okay, so when I connect my hands here and I start dropping to the ground, if his neck's just here, that's going to close off really well. If I've got his neck here and I start dropping down, you can see it's actually really hard for me to fully close off that gap, especially when we're in north-south and we're trying to apply pressure and they're trying to escape. Okay, so when I borrow Tim, actually sorry, before we do that, so when we're here, I reach through and I connect my hands, and the way the pressure is applied is I start bringing my shoulder towards the mat. I actually scoot a little bit to the side. So you see, like, I can't go straight down because my elbow sort of blocks me, my arm's deep. I have to move to the side a little bit to my left to get that shoulder down. And then I just start to sprawl backwards. Watch how low my shoulder can get when I start to sprawl backwards, okay? So that's really closing off their heads here, their necks here. We're really putting pressure on the choke. You can tense your bicep a bit, so you can squeeze a little like this. It's not a lift, okay? This is where I think a lot of people go wrong. They try to like lift the person up into the choke. That's not gonna work. It's actually a very low energy choke. We just sort of roll back and then we're just applying downward pressure like this. So the sprawl and a little squeeze, and I'm forcing my shoulder towards the mat here like this. This is what's gonna finish the choke. All right, so we borrow Tim again. Move this way a bit. Okay, so my hand's gonna go here, not here. It has to get all the way deep, and then immediately I'm dropping my ribs and turning his head away. Okay, try and turn towards me now, Tim. It should be stuck because of that. Okay, I connect my hands, and then watch from here, I just start bringing my weight to the side and sprawling backwards. Okay, so his neck's right in that angle where my elbow starts, and this right shoulder here, this shoulder is going towards the mat. Very low energy. If you're finding you're getting tired from your north-south, you definitely don't have it on. You probably can see my hands. Probably don't need too many angles for this.
Should say from there, yeah.
Tim's going to be unchokeable by the end of today. His vascular system's going to adapt. Another concept that I think's really important to go through. I feel like head and arm is a better control to go for than just the head. Okay, so we've got a guillotine, which works perfectly fine where we've just got the head. The problem is I have very few follow-up options. So if Tim was to roll out, now like this, there's not a lot I can do from here to catch him. Okay, and Tim can turn reasonably easy when I've just got the head. Okay, so if you rotate, nothing I'm doing here is stopping him from turning. When I get the head and the arm, now I've got, if you look from here, now I've actually got some ability to stop his shoulders rotating, like this. Okay, so, and I've got a lot of follow-up options. So then I can start going to the Das and the Anaconda. I can give him a lot more threats to think about, which can mean it's easier to actually get the finish. I would say mechanically, it's much easier to finish just the head, a guillotine with just the head, as a single move alone. But I think as part of a whole overall game and strategy, having the head and arm is more effective. But there's times when you're going to go for either one. And I would recommend when you first start, actually probably to start with just the head as a guillotine, because it's easier to get the finish right. But a lot of people struggle getting the right angle for the finish with the head and the arm. If you start with just the head and then progress to using the head and the arm, I find that's an easier way to get good at the finishing mechanics. So an important concept for doing these chokes is once you connect your hands, once you've got their head, you don't want to let them out. Okay, so you're going to be moving through a lot of different positions, and trying to just focus on just finishing from one position is going to be very difficult. So if I borrow Tim, we might start here, and I'm going to get my arm in guillotine grip, for example. I go to sit down. Tim might move around. He might roll. I end up in this position here, which we call inverted north-south. Here like this. He might eventually bridge back on top. We go through. So the point I'm trying to make is I just want to always keep my hands connected if possible, and chasing him and following him around. Okay, you don't have to be stagnant in one position. If I go here and I'm trying to fight from here and he rolls and I don't move, and he's gonna get out. Okay, so I have to react to his movement and actually chase him and follow him around, so he's constantly stuck in a threat of submission, and that threat's gonna change throughout. Guys, once your hands are connected, when your hands are connected, so we're always looking to get our hands connected like this. When Tim's holding my arms, or one of my arm, never try to change your grip when that's the case, okay? As in, don't let go of your grip here. As soon as I let go, boom, he's gonna move, okay? So I'm never trying to change to my Das or Anaconda while he's holding my arms. I need to be changing the position we're in, okay? So if I find he's blocking the chokes from here, then I need to be moving and adapting and getting Tim off base, okay? So now I can start removing his arms, okay? And I'm continuing to upgrade my grip. If you let go to change your grip, that's so if they've got two hands on your one arm, they're moving it straight away and you've totally lost everything. I'm gonna demonstrate this just from the front headlock for demonstration purposes, but basically if someone's blocking one arm, so let's say Tim's focusing everything on my choking arm, like this, the one that's around the neck, then I'll almost always be then trying to feed the other one around the neck, okay? Similarly, if he's defending my left hand, my right hand's gonna start going deeper around the neck. So, whenever one's being defended, start getting the other one through. You almost wanna be, you often find if you pull that grip back, so he's controlling my right arm really well right now. When I pull that back, he loses control, and I can often actually reconnect my hands, but now in a really good spot by feeding my other one deep as I pull that out. Okay, so we're tracking it, and then suddenly we've got a really good grip to finish. Okay. All right. In terms of what techniques you're going to prefer, the length of your arms may be a significant factor for this. If you've got long arms, especially if you're going against someone with narrow shoulders, you're probably going to really like, for example, on top of half guard, you're going to really like going for the dust choke. You can put your hand in and immediately your hand's poking out the other side and ready to grab. Someone like me with short arms, usually when I get my hand in, I just won't have my hand poking out. So while I can do a lot of adjustments to get that hand through, able to do the triangle, I find someone like me, I'm going to favor the guillotine, arming guillotine, and the anaconda more so than the dust choke. So I just want to quickly go over why I think the inverted north-south is one of the best positions you can get to when you've got a head and an arm. Okay, so we're here, and we've rolled over. Oh, maybe we'll walk a little bit this way. Okay, this is a really good position for me to attack from, mainly because I can use, I've now got both of my arms and my legs in play to try and deal with Tim's arms. It's kind of hard for Tim to use his feet to protect this space around his neck, right? So Tim, try and put your foot, like it's hard for him to use his legs here. And of course I can't put my feet to his neck either, but I can use my legs to start dealing with his arms. Okay, so I can start trapping the arm here like this and clearing some of the grips while I'm maintaining and upgrading my chokes. So, just important for you to understand that, especially with the head arm grip, a lot of the time we're looking to get to this position. It's much harder when we're here, when my legs have to be on the ground, for me to actually start dealing with the arms. So if Tim's defending well here, very difficult for me to use my legs to clear the arms. Even from guard, like this, I've got the head and the arm, and Tim's got some defenses in. So let's say he's gripping my hands here. I can't use my legs to clear those hands, okay? But once we get over, now my leg can start removing the grip, and I can start trying to finish my chokes. Alright guys, all these techniques, they do work gi and no gi, although it is much harder to get these in the gi. A few reasons for that. Any grip you got across here, to dig the arm off the throat in no gi, they often have to get like right up over the top and pull it off, okay? In the gi, they can just grab this is an easy grip to get, and they just start pulling and it relieves the tension. Okay, so any wrist grip or sleeve grip they can get is gonna significantly make it harder for you to choke, whereas in no gi, they've actually got to be able to reach all the way through, which can be quite difficult. And of course, there's more friction, so sliding your arms through, they're often gonna get caught before you can fully set up your technique. So feel free to try it in the gi, but definitely this is a much more effective strategy in no gi. Alright guys, so we're going to work on the front headlock. I'll just give you a quick overview of what my options are from here, and and also a little bit into what Tim might be looking to do as well. So from here, obviously I've got the standard arm out guillotine like this. I can start connecting my grips, going through and going for this. Yeah, like this. I can start to set up the arm in guillotine as well, like this. So depending where his arm is, I can go for the arm in or the arm out. I can start to set up grips to roll Tim through to the inverted north-south position and set up the anaconda from there. We can potentially go for the das from here as well. So there, and the 10-finger guillotine is the option, obviously if the head's in the middle. But I also have options to take the back. Okay, so often you want to threaten the two. If Tim feels like there's just a threat for the choke, what's he going to do? He's going to put both hands in the middle and he's going to start defending that. If he's worried about me taking his back, what's he going to do? His hands are going to start blocking my legs and open up his neck. Okay, so you actually have to, from this position, I have to threaten going to the back, and I have to be good at taking the back as well as finishing the choke from there. When Tim's in front headlock on me, obviously my first aim is going to be to not get choked, so I'm going to be looking at the hands and trying to fight the hands here like this. So I'm really looking to ideally separate his arms. If his arms are separated and I'm controlling one of them, I feel very confident that I'm going to escape from there. And also, I want to not let my back get taken, so if Tim starts to move around towards the back, I'll often be reaching up with my hand. Potentially I could go for a double leg if he really doesn't have great grips. But it's important to understand how people are going to defend so we can attack effectively. Alright guys, a lot of our entries into the front headlock are going to come from the standing position. And we're going to use, obviously we have to use something similar to a snap down to get the chin, and then we've got to get them down to the ground to finish. So often, just as a general strategy first off, like you want to make them worried about their legs. Jiu-jitsu guys notoriously will stand like this, right? And it's going to be really hard to guillotine someone like that or snap them down. Okay, so if I'm trying to pull his head down from here, that's next to impossible. Okay, so I either have to just take him down because he's standing tall, which is fine, or I want to make him worried about me attacking his legs regardless. Okay, so if we're here and Tim's standing tall, what I want to do is start faking shots and make him get, see, already Tim's starting to get lower to defend. And the lower he goes, the better for me, okay? All right, now that he's worried about his legs a bit more, I can start to get a good tie up. What I would say is don't hold the head for a while and then try and snap down. As soon as you hold their head, they're waiting for you to pull their head down and they're gonna react to it, okay? So instead, when we're here, we're gonna put our hands just both on the inside here like this, and we continue fighting, making Tim think I'm attacking his legs, like this, okay? Then from there, you got your lead leg forward, the hand's gonna go to the back of the head, I'm gonna pull, it's like I'm trying to pull him to take a single leg, okay, like this. But at the same time, as I snap the head, I'm gonna move my leg backwards, like this, okay? I'm gonna catch the chin. Now it's both, you might not have seen that, but it's actually both hands that are working. So as my hand pulls on the head, my left hand's gone over the top of the back of right behind the shoulder, and that's gonna pull as well, okay? So we're here, and we snap down, okay? Really important, I'm actually pushing backwards with my front leg as I step back, as I pull him toward, and obviously I have to remove that leg so I can get this front headlock position. Some other scenarios from here, you can get the underhook. So let's say Tim keeps grabbing my head, which makes it really hard to snap him down. I'm gonna drop my shoulder below and come up with an underhook here, keeping his elbow wide. From there, I can do the exact same motion, and this is gonna be pulling on his shoulder, okay? We catch the chin, and we're down into our front headlock position. Or sometimes you grab the head, he grabs yours, we get our underhook, and this doesn't work, right? Tim's posturing up, okay? So I can't snap him down here. What I do, this hand is gonna circle to the front around the head, and I'm gonna do a big wide arc, pull him down. So for this one, our arms straighten out and circle around to try to get the chin. And we get our snap down to here. Then we can change our grip so that we're in a proper front headlock position. Shoots at my legs and I sprawl. Okay. So I'm just grabbing the chin, removing my leg, and we're going to end up in this position. There's one position, one scenario, sometimes you'll get there, you'll snap down, but they're still up. Okay, and I'm trying to make it hard for you to pull them down. And it's hard, if his hands aren't on the mat, he can really defend my chin strap grip and start trying to get out of here. Okay, so what I want is to get him down, get his hands down towards the ground. So when we just get the chin strap and they're still up, the way we get them down to the mat, I hold the chin and I like whip my feet back in a backward circular motion. Like this, okay? I'm gonna do this while I'm holding on with the left hand too. Okay, so here, we catch the chin and I'm gonna circle and pull like this, okay? Both arms, it's not straight back, it's around the corner a little bit. And now we're in position. So let's have a look at our control and our pressure we want from the front headlock position. Okay, so first off, you need to have the chin strap as your first grip. This stops Tim from running away. Okay, so if I'm not holding his chin, he's just gonna escape out the back. I wanna have this tight. And I also wanna make sure that Tim can't attack my legs too. Okay, so if I'm too high, or basically if this shoulder's like over his back right to start before my hands are connected, grab my legs, it's gonna be too late to actually attack any sort of choke or guillotine. What we want is our shoulder here, actually a little bit in front of his shoulder. Okay, so drive at me now, Tim. And I've got good pressure to resist that. So try and back out, I'm holding his head, try and drive forward, and I'm holding, and my shoulder's blocking that. Okay, just get this way a bit. Okay, to assist that, I don't want him posting up on this arm, so you often see Tim's gonna use that to start getting up and so on. So just generally as a first grip, like grip this elbow and try and keep it off the ground. You can feel, Tim probably feels a lot less comfortable when I'm pulling that elbow up because he can't post off it, okay? Now you don't want to be on both knees. They're gonna take you down. Don't go down unless you've got your grips you want. Okay, so sometimes I want to sit to guard for the guillotine, but not on Tim's terms. I want to go on my terms. Okay, so I want to have one leg up, the same side that you're holding the head. You can have that knee forward, but it's just like because of my shoulder pressure and head positioning, it's very hard for Tim to grab that leg. Now, lastly, if we turn around. When I'm just trying to control the position, I want Tim's head a little bit in front of my ribs and my chest here. Okay, I don't want his head poking out and looking up. Okay, look up here, Tim. I lost everything. Okay, I want his head tucked in nice and tight. Once I get my guillotine grip, that's different. I can get his head out to the side because my hands are connected. I won't lose the grip. But when I'm holding just the chin, I don't want his head coming out. I want his head stuck in the middle. It also makes it much harder for Tim to take me down. Alright guys, so we've got the chin grip. Now we're going to have to start trying to connect our hands so we can start going for the guillotine choke or the arm-in guillotine choke. Now, as I said before, my preference is actually to get the arm-in guillotine, but that's not necessarily up to me. This all depends on how Tim is defending. Okay, so Tim can defend by keeping this elbow really tight. I'm never going to get an arm-in guillotine when he's doing this. Okay, but I should have very nice access to come in and connect my hands for a regular guillotine. Tim, defend the regular guillotine. Boom, okay, now I've got the arm-in guillotine. So he has to open that elbow and I'll take that space and connect my hands here, okay? But the reality is, you'll be going for this, they defend that, we come in front, okay? So always constantly going through, over the top, or behind. Just like I said before though, try and keep your hand close to your chest, don't dangle it here. If they control your hand, you lose a lot, okay? So as soon as Yeah, I need to be like clearing that grip really quick. Have a look at that again. Watch this. He holds my hand. If I can get it out to here, I'm going to bring it over my leg and break that grip and come back. Okay, I can't be waiting there like that because he's going to get out. Boom. Okay, the back end attacking our grips to set up the choke. Guys, whether you get the arm, whether you get just the head, or you get the head and the arm, I see this happen a lot, and I just want to say, don't do this because it doesn't work that well, and it's probably just going to crank your partner's neck. But I see a lot of people get their grip and they stand up, and they start trying to like do this. Okay, I've got like possible it chokes Tim, but he's got access to my legs now. He can start choosing which side he ends up on if he takes me down, and then I lose everything. If you're going to stand up, you stand up for a second. So we're here and we get up. I want to sit back to guard. This is a secure position, and he can't get to my bad side, which is this side. Okay, so finish from the guard when you get your guillotines. Don't try and stand up and lift their head as high as you can. That's totally the wrong mechanics for finishing a guillotine. It's going to probably hurt their neck more than actually choke them, and it's less effective. All right, so when I'm here and I've managed to catch the head and the arm, for example, or even I'm just fighting from here, and I notice Tim's really intent on keeping his head in the middle. So maybe I've connected my hands and I tried to get the head out and it won't happen. His head's staying in the middle, or I go for obviously if I have the guillotine grip, that means I'm going for the 10-finger guillotine. Okay, so got the guillotine grip and he's keeping his head in the middle. Cool, we'll go for the 10-finger guillotine. But head and arm, and he's keeping his head in the middle. I'm not going to get the guillotine choke here. I need his head like right up in my armpit, like we were discussing earlier. So from here, I'm going to try and roll Tim. I'm going to try and roll him into inverted north-south. Okay, so I'm going to use my forearm to block Tim's elbow here, and I'm going to connect my hands. Left hand palm up. So this is basically chopping. This is Tim's base, right? This is keeping him up. I'm going to block that, and I'm going to connect my hands here like this. Okay, so I'm going to let go of we're moving our hands across from the chin. Minimal time disengaging our hands. We're just going to rotate, and we're going to connect here like this. So Tim's head's in the middle here. From here, I'm going to remove that elbow from being his base. So I'm going to lift him up a tiny bit. I'm going to pull my forearm and my elbow tight to my ribs. Okay. From here, you can see he's got very poor ability to base here. So we're going to drive forward a bit, and then we're going to roll underneath and roll him over. Okay. And I want to stop here. I don't want to keep rolling. I want to keep us stuck in this inverted north-south position. And I'm in perfect position now to set up and finish my anaconda choke. So if you're going for the arm in guillotine and the head's stuck in the middle and you can't get it out, that means your aim should be to transition to look for the anaconda choke. All right, so the ability to do the guillotine or the anaconda or the arm in guillotine is dependent upon this right arm, the one around the chin here, being able to go a little bit deeper. Okay, so even with a guillotine, we're adjusting our grip a little bit deeper here. The anaconda, obviously, we're coming right through, and the arm in guillotine as well. So sometimes, even earlier than this, Tim might be defending the hand even before the chin strap, okay, like this. When this is the case, and I can't get the chin, I'm not going to get any of those submissions to work. I have to have a different strategy. So now we're going to be working on getting our left hand deeper, okay. So this one's going to come underneath, and our first one, we're going to try and roll through to inverted north-south again, just with a different setup. So my left hand's going to go deep, and it's going to cup my right hand back here. So let's have a look. Let's turn around. We're Yeah, this Tim's blocked that, so I can't even grab his chin, but I still should be able to grip. Like when my hands come, so I should be able to grip, even if my hands come up back here, okay? So my left hand's gonna go through, and I connect my hands together with my right hand palm up, like so. Like this, okay? All right, now, here I don't wanna well, if Tim puts his head out, like through this gap, this is actually making my right hand deeper, and I'm back into my guillotine game again, okay? So from here, Tim puts his head through, cool, I'm back to my guillotine, and I start attacking the arm in guillotine again. With his head in the center, I actually can keep his head trapped in the center using my right elbow here. So try and pop your head out now, Tim. It's stuck there, okay? And I'm gonna start to roll him over the top, levering him through his head, like this. This is actually gonna be our lever for the roll. We're here, I'm keeping my elbow tight. I'm gonna lift and stand, okay? So I'm gonna start to drive towards him, putting his head in my stomach. And I'm gonna step my right leg through and roll him over, okay? So almost like stepping through. We're here, I step, I fall. If you need, you can do a little bridge to tilt them. So let's say Tim keeps his balance a little bit. From here, I'm gonna bridge, and that's gonna get him over into our position we want, okay? And then we're ready immediately to start setting up our anaconda choke. Once again, he's blocked this arm, so I bring my left hand through, I connect my hand, palm up here like this. I keep his head stuck in the center using my elbow. I need pressure on his head, so I wouldn't roll, I wouldn't sit back now. See how his head's not connected to my stomach? I want to lift it up and start like driving in. Okay, his head's on my stomach now, or my hips. So when I drop my hips through and bridge and step, boom, we get him over, okay? So from here, we can go to the anaconda, or given our grip, you also have the option here to pull your grip a little deeper and come up ready to attack for the das. Do that fast.
Yep.
I'll do the das this time. We're here again. Tim has managed to control this arm that was around the chin again. So you can go straight for the das from here. I find it a little risky to go for this in a non-tight fashion. So some people advocate like rolling through and trying to catch it. That's great, you can do that. But there's also, if Tim reacts at that specific moment, it's not gonna work. Okay, so a more slow but controlled version, I think, is better, and that means I'm going to be controlling his head position. So we're going to go for our same rollover we just did before. Tim has blocked my arm. I take my left hand through and I connect my hands. Okay, so I've got my hands connected. His head's in the middle, but now I feel that I can actually, like, I've got the right angle to get my forearm in front of his neck, like this. Okay. So now look at this. This can actually choke already. This can be a finish from here. But this is going to stop him extending and opening more space to stop this. So if Tim lifted his head up, look, there's no way I connect my hands. But he can't because I've wedged his head down, okay? And then I just have to make sure I maintain that pressure as I slide my arm through and connect onto my bicep here like this. From there, gripping the back. And I would like to turn Tim over now. So I'm rowing now, and I'm going to try to turn him and roll so that I'm side onto him here like this, and we can start to apply the choke. Notice with this that I circle towards that side control sort of position. Yeah, so we're here, I get the head, and I start to get through and get my grip. Once I knock him over, if I stay front on, he's actually going to roll out. Yeah, if I stay like it's in north-south, yeah, I'll lose my darts. Okay, so go back. I'm going to keep pressure on this arm to stop him turning, so I actually walk more to side control and I drop my weight on that arm. So here, right, I walk back and I'm dropping my chest down here. So try and roll to your back, Tim. What's stopping you?
Your
Pressure
shoulder.
here, yeah, on his arm. Yeah, so I've got my weight like that on his arm, keeping him turned. Okay, so we also need to be able to take the back from the front headlock position. It's part of an overall threat that you're giving your opponent, and obviously if you get the back, that's a good thing too. So the first one we're going to do to take the back is all I want to do, I want to make sure he can't grab my leg as I go around. Okay, so if I try to just walk around, Tim grabs my leg, and that can turn into a double leg. So I'm already holding this arm when we start, and I'm just going to take my hand from the chin and I'm going to swing it across to block that arm. Okay? From there, I bring my leg first and I roll my hips around to take the back. We can go straight for the harness as well, but the key is don't let him grab that leg. Okay? So I need to be blocking that arm and I put my hand in front. Now my weight still needs to be on Tim. See where my shoulder is? It's on top, because I don't want him standing up either. If I try and block the arm like this, he just stands up and we're out of the position altogether. So I want to take the back, we go here, and we spin around, or we can go straight for we can go with our arm and then go straight for the harness. Yeah, like this as well. Sometimes they'll make it a little more difficult than that. Let's say Tim's standing up, and it's hard to get that leg back a bit. Yeah, cool. Okay, and it's hard. I feel like it's going to be hard to get right through to the back. What I can do is I can drive my head through and keep my hand on the chin. So I'm going to step around like this. Head's going to go in the middle, and I'm going to reach for the leg around the ankle or the knee, whatever's available, and I'm going to row my elbows tight towards my hips and drive forward like this. Okay, so this is going to cause Tim's back to sort of bend. You okay? Yeah. From here, I circle around. I'm still holding the chin. Step on his leg, grab the back, and I let go of the chin. Have a look at that again. Do a different angle. We're here. I'm going to drive my head through. I'm holding the chin like this. I'm still pulling tight, and I reach the leg. So now both my arms are rowing and bending his spine here like this. I want to catch the ankle so that I can step over. It can be with my foot or my knee. Either one's fine. I'm going to grab the back. I go with my hand, and I take the back. Let's do it fast. And we take the back. So this is something that I've seen Adam Satiev, who's one of the best wrestlers ever. He uses this quite a lot. When I can force Tim's hands to the mat, so if I pull him down and he posts like this, I'm just going to wedge my outside leg right behind that arm. Okay, so as soon as he posts, I wedge that through here, and I actually push forwards on that with my hips and my leg to that arm. Okay, so if you imagine we go here. If he can't reach that arm back around, like through here to grab my legs, he doesn't have any control. So I actually want to like wedge this in and pressure forward, okay? So where are you gonna go from here to? He goes here, he might even trap my leg, that's fine. I get the seat belt and I can start to free my leg and come out towards the back. So with this one, you make them post and immediately you're gonna jam that leg behind. Okay, so right here, I've got the head. As he posts, I jam my leg in and I'm pushing forward like that. Okay, try and get that arm back. I'm getting my harness and we go out towards the back. Linking the techniques from here. So in front headlock, let's just first of all just go overall. If his hands are so tight and protective of his neck, then he's not defending his back very well. So that means we should be able to easily spin towards the back. And you need to at least threaten that. And we're hoping that opens his arms up a little bit now. So if he starts trying to defend me going to the back, that's going to give me a much better chance at getting at the chin and connecting my hands together. Okay. Now, first of all, what's going to help decide where I'm going to go? So first grip, obviously I want the chin, but depending where his hand is, so if his hand's back, I'm going to come through just for the regular guillotine. He brings that in, we're going over the top, and we're going for the arm in guillotine. Then from here, regardless of those two, then head positioning is going to be important as well. So either of these grips, once my hands connect, if I'm able to pull his head up and go through, we're going for either the arm in guillotine or just the head guillotine. If from here, if he's managed to keep his head in the inside and I can't pull the head out to the middle with the arm in, then we're looking to go for the anaconda. Okay, so we're rolling underneath and we're going to try and finish that from here. And if we've just got the head and the head stuck in the middle and he's not letting me pull it out, we're going 10-finger guillotine. Okay, so we're coming to here and pressuring up, chasing him with that. If he blocks this, so these are all relying on me being able to get this choking hand, the one around the chin, somewhat deep. If he's blocking that, then we're starting to look to come through and roll over. From here, we're going for Das or anaconda. From this position to anaconda or coming up for the Das. And if I get the chance, even from here, if I can get my forearm in front of the head, connect my hands there. If I get my forearm in front of the neck, here like this, I can even start to set the Das up from here and finish